Bonjour. Now this is a lesson for chapter 7, but I've gone back to chapter 5 because the lesson on the pronoun on, en, follows the same lines of understanding that we saw in chapter 5 when we talked about general preferences and the definite article, as opposed to what you use the partitive and in some cases just the indefinite to talk about what you actually do consume, what you take, what you have, what you drink, what you eat. Remember, we talked about the difference between j'aime les biscuits as opposed to je mange des biscuits. J'aime le thé vert, je bois du thé vert. It's the same thing when we decide whether we're using je l'aime, je les aime, je les mange. You're talking about something very specific, le, la, les, as opposed to en. J'en mange, I have some. J'en bois, j'en prends. Okay, let's move forward again to 7. And to the proper explanation of le pronom on. You use on to replace, for example, anything that would have the preposition de, including the partitif. So the normal sentence would be Marc prend du sucre dans son café. Il prend du sucre, some sugar. Marc en prend dans son café. So that on becomes some. He takes some in his coffee. Marc mange des biscuits. He eats some cookies. It's not the cookies. Il mange les biscuits. Il les mange. He has some of them. Il mange des biscuits. Il en mange. He has too many of them. Il en mange trop. You have also expressions built with de. Il a peur des chiens. He's afraid of dogs. Il en a peur. Il a besoin d'argent. Il en a besoin. Il n'a pas besoin d'argent. Il n'en a pas besoin. Il a mis de la crème dans la soupe. Il a mis de la crème. He replaces de la crème with en. Il en a mis, il n'en a pas mis. Avez-vous besoin de papier? Nous n'en avons pas besoin. Nous en avons besoin. En is also used to replace a noun that is modified by a number or an expression of quantity. So when you're using combien de biscuits allez-vous manger? Je vais manger 3 biscuits. I can replace 3 biscuits with en. Je vais en manger 3. I'm going to eat 3 of them. Je vais en manger 3. J'ai mangé trop de biscuits. I can keep the trop for emphasis. And I can say, j'en ai mangé trop. Vous avez beaucoup de devoirs? Non, je n'en ai pas beaucoup. Il parle de Luc. Il en parle. No, that wouldn't work that way. With de and people, if it was il parle des problèmes, you would say il en parle. But if it's il parle de Luc, il parle de lui. Il parle de Luc et Marie. Il parle de, of them. Voilà. It may seem confusing at this point because I've thrown out just a lot of different new lines of thinking, especially when it comes to expression of quantity. First, try to just get through the exercises, talk yourself through them, just learning in which context you would use which things. And then as you start to become more comfortable with the placement of these, where to place them in the sentence, then you'll be more comfortable with mirroring back in the contexts. You know, as I said with on, with this en, we use it a lot with food and what we're talking about eating or having. So you would start using it in the context of eating. You know, vous voulez un gâteau? Oui, j'en veux. Vous voulez du gâteau? Oui, j'en veux. Vous aimez les gâteaux? Oui, je l'aime.